Sam C. Hey guys, we got story time with Dora. What are we doing, Samsy? Around the world in 80 days, part 6. Now, all right, I think we found us our rhythm here. This is like a 2-week-long trip, so we should be able to get a few stories in here. We're heading for the Coral Pink Sand Dunes State Park up near Kanab, Utah. And yeah, it's going to take us a while. And it's such a beautiful little drive, except for this, first several parts, which is just up through the desert. But the most exciting part about this stuff is the how beat up the road is. And I'll throw up a scooter view back there, and holy cow, just having that scooter view back there convinced me to fabricate some braces for the Moto-Tote motorcycle carrier, because damn, that thing jumps around back there. That's some Jean-Claude back there. All right, here we go. Now, this story, around the world in 80 days. Passepartout and Phileas Fogg were on their way, and the detective Fix did not get his arrest warrant in time to grab them while they were there, and he couldn't convince the consulate guy to deny the passport, so he had to get on the boat with them. So that's where we are with that. And now we're going across the Red Sea, and Phileas Fogg did not even come out of the cabin. He was doing his scheduling thing, and that was that. So we'll pick it up right there. He passed through the memorable scenes of the Red Sea with cold indifference, did not care to recognize the historic towns and villages which, along its borders, raised their picturesque outlines against the sky, and betrayed no fear of the dangers of the Arabic Gulf, which the oldest historians always spoke of with horror, and upon which the ancient navigators never ventured without propitiating the gods by ample sacrifices. How did this eccentric personage pass his time on the Mongolia? He made his 4 hearty meals every day, regardless of the most persistent rolling and pitching on the part of the steamer, and he played whist in the boy, that's a word. Oh, okay. Let's put a pin in it for a second and let's go find that sucker. Indefatigable. Too easy. For he had found partners as enthusiastic in the game as himself. A tax collector on the way to his post in Goa, the Reverend Decimus Smith, returning to his parish at Bombay, and a brigadier general of the English army, who was about to rejoin his brigade at Benares, made up the party, and with Mr. Fogg played whist by the hour together in absorbing silence. As for Passepartout, he too had escaped seasickness, and took his meals conscientiously in the forward cabin. He'd rather enjoyed the voyage, for he was well fed, well lodged, and he took a great interest in the scenes through which they were passing, and consoled himself with the delusion that his master's whim would end at Bombay. He was pleased, on the day after leaving Suez, to find on deck the obliging person with whom he had walked and chatted on the quays. If I am not mistaken, said he, approaching this person with the most amiable smile, you are the gentleman who so kindly volunteered to guide me at Suez. Ah, I quite recognize you. You are the servant of the strange Englishman. Just so, monsieur. Fix, monsieur, fix, resumed Passepartout. I am charmed to find you on board. Where are you bound? Like you, to Bombay? That's capital. Have you made this trip before? Several times. I am one of the agents of the Peninsular Company. Then you know India? Why, yes, replied Fix, who spoke cautiously. A curious place, this India. Oh, very curious. Mosques, minarets, temples, fakirs, pagodas, tigers, snakes, elephants. I hope you will have ample time to see the sights. I hope so, Monsieur Fix. You see, a man of sound sense ought not to spend his life jumping from a steamer upon a railway train and from a railway train upon a steamer again, pretending to make the tour of the world in 80 days. No, all these gymnastics, you may be sure, will cease in Bombay. And Mr. Fogg is getting on well? Asked Fix in the most natural tone in the world. Quite well, and I too. I eat like a famished ogre. It's the sea air. But I never see your master on deck. Never. He hasn't the least curiosity. Do you know, Mr. Passepartout, that this pretended tour in 80 days may conceal some secret errand? Perhaps a diplomatic mission? Faith, Monsieur Fix, I assure you I know nothing about it, nor would I give half a crown to find out. After this meeting, Passepartout and Fix got into the habit of chatting together, the latter making it a point to gain the worthy man's confidence. He frequently offered him a glass of whiskey or pale ale in the steamer barroom, which Passepartout never failed to accept with graceful alacrity, mentally pronouncing Fix the best of good fellows. Meanwhile, the Mongolia was pushing forward. Oh, I see, we got some of that. We got some of that view up there. Oh, yeah, it's been there. Look at that road, for the love of God, look at that road. And it just gets worse and worse and worse all the way up there. I will not go that way again. I guess in a nice car, maybe. But in a little motorhome or the little van, holy cow, it's just rocking and rolling. It's not enjoyable. If you know, and I slow right down too. You know, I'm barely going 60 miles an hour, I bet. It's not that hard to do in the little van. She doesn't go up the hills too fast. All right, let's get back to the story here. Meanwhile, the Mongolia was pushing forward rapidly. On the 13th, Mocha, surrounded by its ruined walls, wherein date trees were growing, was sighted, and on the mountains beyond were espied vast coffee fields. Passepartout was ravished to behold this celebrated place, and thought that, with its circular walls and dismantled fort, it looked like an immense coffee cup and saucer. The following night they passed through the Strait of Bab el Mandeb, which means in Arabic the Bridge of Tears, and the next day they put in at Steamer Point, northwest of Aden Harbor, to take on coal. This matter of fueling steamers is a serious one. At such distances from the coal mines, it cost the Peninsular Company some 800,000 pounds a year. In these distant seas, coal is worth 3 or 4 pounds sterling a ton. The Mongolia had still 1,650 miles to traverse before reaching Bombay, and was obliged to remain 4 hours at Steamer Point to coal up. But this delay, as it was foreseen, did not affect did not affect Phileas Fogg's program. Besides, the Mongolia, instead of reaching Aden on the morning of the 15th, when she was due, arrived there on the evening of the 14th, a gain of 15 hours. Mr. Fogg and his servant went ashore at Aden to have the passport again visaed. Fix, unobserved, followed them. The visa procured, Mr. Fogg returned on board to resume his former habits, while Passepartout, according to custom, sauntered about among the mixed population of the Manleys. No, it's Somalis. I tried to put it in the way it was spelt, and nobody knew what that word was, so it's got to be Somalis. The mixed population of Somalis, Banyans, Parsis, Jews, Arabs, and Europeans who comprise the 25,000 inhabitants of Aden. He gazed with wonder upon the fortifications which make this place the Gibraltar of the Indian Ocean, and the vast cisterns where the English engineers were still at work 2,000 years after the engineers of Solomon. Very curious, said Passepartout to himself on returning to the steamer. I see that it is by no means useless to travel if a man wants to see something new. At 6 p.m., the Mongolia slowly moved out of the roadstead and was soon once more on the Indian Ocean. She had 168 hours in which to reach Bombay, and the sea was favorable, the wind being in the northwest, and all sails aiding the engine. The steamer rolled but little. The ladies, in fresh toilette, reappeared on deck, and the singing and dancing were resumed. The trip was being accomplished most successfully, and Passepartout was enchanted with the congenial companion which chance had secured him in the person of the delightful Fix. On Sunday, October 20th, toward noon, they came in sight of the Indian coast. 2 hours later, the pilot came on board. A range of hills lay against the sky, and a range of hills lay against the sky in the horizon, and soon the rows of palms which adorn Bombay came distinctly into view. The steamer entered the road formed by the islands in the bay, and at 4:30 she hauled up at the quays of Bombay. Phileas Fogg was in the act of finishing the 33rd rubber of the voyage, and his partner, and having himself, by a bold stroke, captured all 13 of the tricks, concluded this fine campaign with a brilliant victory. The Mongolia was due at Bombay on the 22nd. She arrived on the 20th. This was a gain to Phileas Fogg of 2 days since his departure from London, and he calmly entered the fact in the itinerary in the column of gains. Ooh, that's the end of the chapter. That's the end of chapter 9. Let's just take a look at chapter 10 here and find out how much further we're going to be able to get going here. Oh boy, we got a long ways. We got a long ways. Well, we don't got a long ways, but we got a long ways to go. Chapter 10, in which Passepartout is only too glad to get off with the loss of his shoes. Oh, I don't remember this one. Everybody knows that the great reversed triangle of land, which is base in the north and its apex in the south, which is called India, embraces 1,400,000 square miles, upon which is spread unequally a population of 180 million souls. The British Crown exercises a real and despotic dominion over the larger portion of this vast country, and has a Governor-General stationed at Calcutta, governors at Madras, Bombay, and in Bengal, and a Lieutenant Governor in Agra. Oh, well, but British India, properly so called, only embraces 700,000 square miles and a population of from 100 to 110 million of its inhabitants. A considerable portion of India is still free from British authority, and there are certain ferocious Rajas in the interior who are absolutely independent. The celebrated East India Company was all-powerful from 1756, when the English first gained a foothold on the spot where now stands the city of Madras, down to the time of the great Sepoy insurrection. It gradually annexed province after province, purchasing them of the native chiefs, whom it seldom paid, and appointed the Governor-General and his subordinates, civil and military. But the East India Company has now passed away, leaving the British possessions in India directly under the control of the Crown. The aspect of the country, as well as the manners and distinctions of race, is daily changing. Oh, let's take a look. This drive looks exciting. Let's take a look at this exciting drive. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it takes, it takes 2 days. 2 days for me to get up there. I could have, back in the day, you could easily do it in one shot. Nowadays, it's just so much more relaxing to just, knock out 200 or 300 miles, and then that's it, at the most. Those 500, 600-mile days, I used to be able to knock them out on a motorcycle without even blinking an eye. Nowadays, I don't even want to do it. Don't even want to think about sitting in the saddle for 10 hours, All right, so here we are. We're rolling along. Oh, I see we're coming down into that. What is that going to be, like a kind of a Prescott Valley or something? I better not say anything. I'm usually wrong, and you don't take, this is not one of them travel channels where, where I'm going to say, hey, up here 13 feet to the left is one of those geocaching things. Like, I have no idea, none of that. I'm driving, that's it, going this direction. The sun's over there, so pretty much know which way I'm going. All right, India directly under the control of the Crown, daily changing. Formerly, one was obliged to travel in India by the old cumbrous methods of going on foot or on horseback in palanquins or unwieldy coaches. Now, fast steamboats ply on the Indus and the Ganges, and a great railway with branch lines joining the main line as many points on its route traverses the peninsula from Bombay to Calcutta in 3 days. This railway does not run in a direct line across India. The distance between Bombay and Calcutta, as the bird flies, is only from 1,000 to 1,100 miles. But the deflections of the road increase this distance by more than a third. The general route of the Great Indian Peninsula Railway is as follows. Leaving Bombay, it passes through South City. Again, the pronunciation, sometimes I might look it up, but pretty much no. Crossing into the continent opposite Tana, goes over the chain of the western, Ghats, runs thence northeast as far as Burrahampur, skirts the nearly independent area of Bundelkund, ascends to Allahabad, turns thence eastwardly towards the Ganges at Benares, then departs from the river a little, and, descending southeastward by the Burdivian and the French town of Chandernagor, that's probably not the way that's pronounced, has its terminus at Calcutta. Okay, so that whole thing was just like a whole big old mincemeat pie. Did you enjoy it? You're welcome. The passengers of the Mongolia went ashore at 4:30. Ooh, the passengers of the Mongolia went ashore at 4:30. At exactly 8, the train would start from Calcutta. Mr. Fogg, after bidding goodbye to his whist partners, left the steamer, gave his servant several errands to do, urged it upon him to be at the station promptly at 8, and, with his regular step, which beat to the second like an astronomical clock, directed his steps to the passport office. As for the wonders of Bombay, its famous city hall, its splendid library, its forts and docks, its bazaars, mosques, synagogues, its Armenian churches, and the noble pagoda on Malabar Hill, with its 2 polygonal towers, he cared not a straw to see them. He would not deign to examine even the masterpieces of Elephanta or the mysterious Hypogea concealed southwest from the docks, or those fine remnants of Buddhist architecture, the Canharian grottos. Yeah, well, you know, it's getting really exciting at the end of this one. We only got a couple minutes left, so I'm thinking of just letting it go. Here we go. The Canharian grottos of the island Salsette. Again, there's just no way I'm getting these pronunciations right, so have fun with that. Having transacted his business at the passport office, Phileas Fogg repaired quietly to the railway station, where he ordered dinner. Among the dishes served up to him, the landlord especially recommended a certain giblet of native rabbit, on which he prided himself. Mr. Fogg accordingly tasted the dish, but, despite its spiced sauce, found it far from palatable. He rang for the landlord, and, on his appearance, said, fixing his clear eyes upon him, "Is this rabbit, sir?" "Yes, my lord," the rogue boldly replied. "Rabbit from the jungles." "And this rabbit did not mew when he was killed?" "Mew, my lord? What, a rabbit mew? I swear to you." "Be so good, landlord, as to not swear. But remember this, cats were formerly considered in India as sacred animals. That was a good time. For the cats, my lord, perhaps for the travellers as well." After which Mr. Phileas Fogg quietly continued his dinner. Fix had gone on shore shortly after Mr. Fogg, and his first destination was the headquarters of Bombay Police. He made himself known as a London detective, told his business at Bombay and the position of affairs relative to the supposed robber, and nervously asked if a warrant had arrived from London. It had not reached the office. Indeed, there had not been yet time for it to arrive. Fix was sorely disappointed, and tried to obtain an order of arrest from the director of the Bombay Police. This the director refused, as the matter concerned the London office, which alone could legally deliver the warrant. Fix did not insist, it was fair to resign himself to wait. All right, let's call it right there. Thanks so much for coming, boy. We got a long ways to go, so don't even worry about it. We got a long ways to go. We'll see you again. And we'll just leave you with just a few moments of the big old Rosie. Oh, there you go, Rosie. Oh, let's do this other thing here. Samsy.